Hi everyone, I'm Farah and she's Jill while she's
Yeah.
typing things up.
Yes. Thank you for
Um,
inviting me.
we're Simplify Homeschool, and we help families with homeschooling and homeschool to college, college planning and college admissions, essays, college list, the whole shebang. And we run College Confident Homeschoolers on Facebook. And we make videos on this channel here on YouTube. And what else do we do? I don't even know.
Too much. We travel.
Too much. There we
See
go.
college
Too
campuses.
much.
Yeah.
We visit colleges. We both teach also.
We do that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I'm really happy that the school year is almost over.
Oh, me too. 2 more weeks.
I'm like counting it down. I was so excited in my book club on Wednesday night, and it was late here. It was at 10 at night, and everyone's like, "Why are you so happy?" And I'm like, "How can I not be happy? I'm so happy the school year."
It's so funny. I was feeling actually a little bittersweet in my graphic novels class. Aww. They were all like presenting about different, like at the last unit we reads like superhero comics, but also like in the chat, everybody was like, had like a hilarious conversation going on about like, which superhero had Riz and like all these funny. cute little, Gen Z alpha things. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm gonna put a link in.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Put the link in. Okay. Today we're going to talk about making a meaningful high school experience.
Okay.
And I think that this is the first one we're going to do a little series all about meaningful education.
So our goal for us. Yeah, and our goal is to be here, do these on Friday at the same time. So
yeah, so we'll do another one in a couple weeks, right?
So that's what we'll be doing. Yeah. Okay. So meaningful high school experience, which I think is so important. Always.
Yeah, we're starting with like academics, right? Yeah. That was the first. Yeah.
I just want to say I think it's so important now with everything in the world. Yeah. That's kind of why it came to us, because there's a lot of change happening in the world right now. And there's a lot of parents who are worried about tons of things, and especially, their kids being ready for college and what they should major in and stuff. And so you kind of need to work backwards. And I think you need to think about why you're homeschooling and what kind of experience you want to give your kid.
Yeah.
You want it to be somewhat meaningful.
I mean, I hear a lot of families. I mean, I think especially when they get to high school, there is this tension where you've gotten to this point. If you've been homeschooling all the way through, then you've gotten to this point. Yeah. And typically you've done it the way you wanted to do it, whatever that is, whether that was like you had some big philosophy, like, oh, we're going to do this like classical this or that, or like, or like, oh, you're really listening to the kids and responding to what they need, or you fell into it, but you just love the lifestyle. I mean, whatever it is, you kind of did it like the way that really you intended to do it up to this point, I find. But then something happens with high school where everybody kind of gets worried about the future. And it has like, I feel like it's almost, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like ironic a little bit, because it's like, the fact that like you need to have some outside verification and keep these records and so forth, it tends to kind of get in people's heads where they're like, oh, that's more important than whatever the goals, the meaningful education that we were trying to build. That's more important than this.
Right.
This sort of, the outside thing. But then it means that like you end up creating an education, sometimes, not always, obviously, but like, and you tend to focus on things that aren't very meaningful. And then ironically, that doesn't help with college admissions or like future success for your student or anything, to kind of speed run and do like the quickest, easiest, like, thing that looks good on paper.
Yeah, it's just interesting. It's interesting that we put not everyone has been homeschooling forever. And you and I did from the get-go, but not everyone did. But you put so much thought into these earlier years, and you really think about what you're trying to give your kids during this time, and you don't question yourself so much, which is really nice, because they're young, and as long as they get their math and they get some writing skills and that, it's okay if you're outside all day, or you're playing Legos all day, or listening to audiobooks, and then suddenly you get close to high school and it's like, panic sets in, and then you join all the groups everywhere, because you want to, and groups can be really, really good, but they can also be very, very toxic. But you want to, and then you want to make sure you're doing everything correct and setting them up so they can get all these college admissions and maybe run the board if they want to.
Yeah.
But then what happens? Sometimes kids burn out. I mean, I think burnout's a really big one. I think parents can burn out too, because they're constantly worried and constantly second guessing and looking what other resources are out there and trying to sign up for the best classes. And it's a cycle that's not really always bringing joy at the end of the day. And I think joy is important.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah. I mean, I understand the burnout in particular for moms. Like, I mean, and there are non-mom homeschool parents, but it's a lot of moms. And I think that also typically we've talked about this a ton, where your kids are teenagers, the whole vibe is different. And also typically the parents, the moms are entering perimenopause or menopause.
Yeah.
And that has a whole set of baggage attached to it too.
Yeah.
And so I think it's also so you, at the time at which your student needs a different approach to their education, you are often feeling more tired and more burned out. And your kid is now difficult in different ways, and what they need is really different. And then additionally, the subjects are harder to teach.
Definitely.
I mean, I don't care what, how amazing a parent you are, but I have only rarely met parents who can teach, because to teach something, you need to be a few steps ahead of your student to help them have a meaningful education.
Right.
And so to do that for every single subject, that's just it's so rare to be able to do that. And there's no shame in it either.
We're not superhumans. I mean,
No.
Not only that, do you want to teach every subject? I mean, there were some subjects pretty quickly where I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm out. I just thanks but no thanks, I mean, and that's okay.
I mean, for me, that was a big part of what changed in terms of the meaning of homeschooling, because when they were younger, it was fun to learn along with them, because you don't have to be way ahead. You already have a grounding in all of the things, and you're just sort of reminding yourself, and then learning new tricks and learning new little fun facts, and getting to visit a bunch of museums and sort of have this enriching experience for yourself. And then suddenly when you get to high school, it's can you solve this very difficult math problem that you don't have a reason to do other than this, and also explain it to your kid. So not just be able to do it, but also be able to walk through all the steps, which again means you have to be a little bit ahead of it. And so it's and for some families, the math problem is easy, and it's the writing where they're I don't know how to evaluate this. I don't know if it's good enough. It's different things for different parents. So yeah.
And, sometimes we talk about this too, my youngest didn't want me teaching anything, by the time high school came along. He just really wanted outside providers and instructors, and that was really important to him. So sometimes that happens, but there was a question in our group this week, and it was about, do you have to dual enroll in AP everything? And it's no, you don't. And do you have to do every course with the provider? No, absolutely not. Pick and choose, and you can keep things at home, and that looks good to colleges. Don't think it doesn't look good. And definitely, if you find joy in teaching a certain subject or a couple subjects, and your team really likes that time with you, lean into it. It's valid, and it's a good thing. It's nice.
Absolutely.
It's nice to read a book, especially as your kids get older, where they can start reading more adult books and books with tougher themes and stuff, and then just discuss it with them. That's fun. It's fun to hear your teens and their thoughts and what they're thinking and their ideas, and I just love that stage so much.
Yeah, I love it. But I also, one of the things I really love about this stage too, is this is the age at which kids really start introducing you to information. So instead of you doing the research and having to introduce them, they're telling you about things, including, both about the latest something,
video game.
The meme, this or that, but it also is they're, my kids were introducing me to, literature and to, movies and and to like facts about science and things that I didn't know, because they were learning about those things in classes, and able to explain those things to me. And I thought that that was really exciting, to have them, to have that role flip a little bit.
It's fun to see where their interests start to lie, and they're different from yours usually, not always, but sometimes. Like my daughter just became obsessed with Italian, and I think it's from her music background and everything, but she everything about Italy and the history, and started writing a book that took place in Venice in medieval times, and completely learned the language, and was just always sharing this with me. And I knew this was not my wheelhouse at all, unless we're going to talk Italian cinema. I was like, but it was just so much fun. And it's fun to see her excitement and how much she loved it and how into it she was. And I just love that. Her twin was very much into astronomy and video games and horror, which are not my loves, but cool for him. And I tried to show enthusiasm as much as I could, but it's just interesting, and I love it. And I think teens are just so cool. They're just really great people, and and you raised them, and now they're here, and it's like, enjoy that, and don't think you have to push a certain type of high school experience on them that is going to make them burn out or feel like they have no time to themselves, because teens deserve downtime. I mean, they just deserve that, as do all of us. It's funny to me that so many kids nowadays get to college and they're like, wow, it's so much easier than high school. I have so much free time. It's unbelievable. And it's like, what are we doing to the kids during high school years then? Like, this is just crazy.
Yeah.
So I recognize that, I think.
Yeah. I think for me, the meaning piece comes in a bunch of different ways, because in order for them to have that balanced approach and to figure out what they want to do and to have like a variety of experiences, you want them to be in charge a little bit of helping plan their coursework and helping choose how they're approaching things and what materials they're using. And you want them to have rich materials for especially the things that they're interested in, or the things that are going to be grounding for their interests, So like, whether it's like a home planned course about like some niche thing that they're into. Or whether it's like, oh, they need to have like a really thorough biology course because they want to go into like health professions or something, and you want those experiences to be rich. And so I think that's like a big part of it, in terms of building meaning. The other piece for me is that like, you have to really remember how much of education is a process, that it is not like there's not like some single destination to education, which again, I feel like is something that most homeschoolers who have third graders really understand, that it's not like you're trying to get this kid to like a specific, skill or goal. There's not like an award for being the best third grader. Like it's, you get that like the things that you do, the field trips you take, and the time that you spend sitting and snuggling on the sofa, and like, all and reading a book together, the times that you're watching them build the Legos, those are the things that are really important to that experience, and that they're really educational. And I think that a lot of families lose sight of that because they get very focused on like the grades and the outside verification and like all of those pieces instead. And so it becomes that slowly the experiences, which look different, by the way, like a really rich experience, for a 10th grader is not the same as for a third grader. And I think it's not as fun to watch or participate in as the grown-up who is guiding it sometimes. Like it's fun to sort of like sit and watch your little kids play Legos and to take them to the children's museum with your mom friends and like, Whereas like with the 10th grader, it's like they're in their room and they've coded like a video game, or they have like, they have read like 5 books about like this obscure like psychology subject that you sort of are like, what? Like,
It's funny. It's funny you say that though, because like for me, when they're younger, and I had 3 of them, and and I was by myself. So I was a single parent.
Yeah.
So those were such meaningful times. I mean, and my kids tell me, you know, they're always like, I thank you so much for homeschooling us. Thank you for letting us just be kids. We appreciate all our time outside. We appreciate all our time doing art and Legos and audiobooks and reading. I mean, they just loved their childhood so much. It was hard for me as a parent, though, I have to tell you, like playing Legos on the floor. I remember when my youngest first wanted to start doing Legos, and he was quite young, like 1.5 or something, because he wanted to be like, but the twins wouldn't play with him. They're like, no, well, we're not doing that. And I just sit, and I didn't have to play with the twins because there was 2 of them.
Right.
And I'm like, wait, do I sit on the floor and start playing with them? Like that? The answer is yes. You need to play with your kids. But that was actually sometimes very hard for me. But teens, and just like a lot of times I traveled with my teens, and again, we didn't have a ton of money, but we just did, you know, road trips and stuff. And I tried to take them to the beach all the time. I tried to take them out to eat for like a breakfast where we just all sat down and brought our books and talked about things. And I just tried to have heart-to-hearts with all of them individually on kind of a regular basis, just to check in. Yeah. And I think it brought them a lot of meaning, and they appreciated it. But to me, that meant so much to me. They're about to go off into the adult world. You're not going to be as close to them. I mean, you can still be I'm very close to my kids, obviously, but it's not in the same way. And don't spend the whole second half of their childhood worried about, are they doing all these classes? Are they spending enough time on homework? Are they getting the best grades? Are we in the very best providers? First of all, most colleges don't know these providers at all. So you don't need to be playing this game. And start thinking, am I connecting to them? Am I really getting to know them as teenagers and humans, who they are? Am I understanding them? Do they understand me? Are we building a relationship that one day is going to be adults to adults, you know? And you can find so much meaning there. And today we do want to talk about like coursework and stuff, but I just want to frame it that like, they're going to be gone. And I say this as someone, because my kids are all old, and you're going to miss them a bit. Like you really are. And also you're going to enjoy your freedom, because that's a wonderful thing. But these last few years, don't make it all about one thing and forget about the other. There really needs to be balance. And these kids are so cool and good and great, and growing up during kind of a hard time.
Yeah. I think it is those, those connections, and like focusing, you say about like the course providers and how colleges don't know what they are. So true. I think it's like, it is such a balance, because when you're trying to make a meaningful education, you don't want to use the easiest ones. You want those to be enriching as well. But then also, like, you do have to remember, like, colleges don't know the difference. I mean, that's why it's incumbent on you as the parent
for your paperwork.
But also like to prioritize this with your kid. And to prioritize like enriching experiences and courses that have like deeper materials that make your kid do more. Again, that's that process that make them do more than just like click a quiz, you know, over and over. And, you know, have their work graded by AI or something. So you have to prioritize those things, because college admissions isn't going to do that for you. You know, if you know, you can speed run your kid's education to some extent, and colleges aren't going to know necessarily. I mean, I think that there are ways to show off when you didn't, but they, you know, for a lot of schools, especially schools that, you know, aren't, you know, crazy hard to get into, you know, you can get by without doing those things. It's just a question of like, well, why would you want to? Like, don't you want your student to have a rich educational experience? And isn't it more important now than ever? You know,
it's so important. And, you know, there's lots of different ways to do it. I think looking at courses and teachers, you know, teachers can really make such a difference to your student's life. And I do think you should prioritize that. Like, you know, this is a good teacher, you know, they're going to give great feedback, you know, they're going to be supportive for your students. Great. That is awesome. They should be in classes like that. But they don't need to be in every course. That's the best course there is out there. That's going to give them, you know, tons of homework where they just can't balance it out. They won't have time, you know, and you need to look for different types of experiences and courses that one of the questions we often ask when we meet with families, and we like the teens to be there, is there anything you want to study that you haven't had the chance yet? What are your interests? What are you looking for? Is there something you want to do a deep dive on? And because oftentimes they're just thinking, oh, I need an English course, I need a science course, I need a math course, but there's other courses you can take that bring joy to the student's life. And that's a really important thing, and that should be there. And they should have some control, I think, over picking out their coursework. Obviously you're leading it and you give them the options. There's so many options out there. You don't want to overwhelm them, but they should have some input, especially as they get higher through high school.
Yeah, I mean, that to me is one of the key differences too, that between when you're crafting that sort of meaningful education when they're younger versus in high school, is like when they're younger, like you're everything, like it's your own little sandbox. I mean, even for families where they are being kind of child-led, you made the sandbox that's child-led. Like it really, like you've crafted it.
Yeah.
In high school, like it's, they need to help create that.
Yeah.
And
they need to feel some ownership.
Control it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's important to helping launch them so that they aren't just sort of on some track. I mean, kids who go through doing all the sort of basics, especially when it's like very preset, whether that's like by, you're so rigidly following like, a local school's suggestions of coursework, or like a classical kind of thing, or an online school, or whatever it is. Like it's just like, you do this and then this and then this, and they don't get to explore, they don't get to figure those things out. They're not as ready to, most students aren't as ready to go off to college and to sort of be in charge of themselves at that point and to make their decisions. Like this is like practice time. For doing those things, and for modeling lifetime learning.
Yeah, because otherwise there's quite a steep learning curve there,
Yeah.
And it's hard when they're just suddenly in charge and really far. I mean, maybe they're not far from home, but they could be, and they're just all on their own. They have to figure it out. It's nice for you to let them slowly get that control and model it and everything. It's really, really good. Yeah, I agree. One person was asking, creating a meaningful education during high school and picking out courses and stuff. What do you think about balancing specialization versus generalization?
Well, first I'll just say, like, if folks have questions, they can stick them in there and we'll try to on Facebook or on YouTube, either one is
YouTube
fine.
right here. Yeah.
So what I don't think there's a right answer to this. Like, I feel like we deal with this with clients a good bit because and I always tell the story of how, like, within a couple weeks of each other, I visited two, different schools that both had like, 20-30% type acceptances. So they were, reach schools for everyone. And asked the same question, like about that, like, would you rather see students go like into higher levels of courses and do, more? Would you rather see them do like more kind of broad-based AP courses and so forth, like versus, again, like 200 level, like specialized dual enrollment or like specialized courses, and got absolutely opposite answers from admissions. And so this again, like, you have a lot of control as a homeschooler. Like, you cannot predict which schools are going to like what. And sometimes you can know from like individual schools, but like I can guarantee that even like for your student, like they can't aim for like the one school. Like they can't aim, especially not if it's a school that has like a 20% or less acceptance rate. Like you just can't count on those.
Yeah.
And so like you need to like pick a lane and balance between those. And it's okay to have a little of both, but also I would say, like, see where your student thrives.
Yeah.
Like, that's the case for everything.
That's what I would say. Like, I think sometimes it's so apparent that a student is so hyper-focused on certain things and they really go deep on it. And that's what they want and that's what they crave. And so they do look specialized, and that's just the way it is. You still need to make sure the other boxes are being checked. You absolutely do. And then some students are like, what? I want to explore this. I want to do a little this. I like this. And they're kind of across the board checking lots of boxes. And that's fine too. I think your student will lead you there more than anything if they're given the option. And I think oftentimes what happens is the right colleges accept your student based on, you know, what they are. Your student will land where they need to land for the most part. You know, I mean, I'm not talking finances or anything like that, but I remember my youngest who was so specialized. He was so specialized and he was so knew exactly what he wanted to do and did not want, I mean, he took my feedback, but he definitely was driving the car, you know, 100%. And he got rejected at quite a few schools until he finally got in somewhere. And it was a great school. It was a really great school. And it was a good match for him and his type of learning and everything. And I just think you have to trust the process a little bit, and trust that your kids will land somewhere and they'll find a way, no matter what it is. You know, it might not be college. Not everyone's going to go to college, and that's okay too. Just as long as you feel like I gave them an opportunity to have a really unique and strong high school education, and just, you know, gave them time to be teens and gave them some ownership so they could kind of grow up. And now I'm going to release them into the world and I'm going to know they're going to be okay. I mean, there's not, you know, other things can happen 100%, but that's really the goal here. And I think when choosing back to coursework, and one thing that frustrates me a lot is so many parents think it's dual enrollment, APs, and nothing else, you know, and there is so much more out there and so many more things your students could be doing than just checking all these boxes. And honestly, you don't have to verify everything. Everything does not need to be verified. If you have some AP coursework or some dual enrollment, you have some letters of rec, you have maybe a test score. You don't need every single one of these things, but a few of them, you know, that's outside verification. And then your kid did some deep dives in other areas that, you know, self-study, or you helped them, or they took one of these high input, low output courses at some of these providers. Those are unique courses that end up on the transcript that help the transcript stand out. People in admissions see the same coursework over and over and over again, because this is, you know, at public and private schools, it's pretty common. And they see almost all A's over and over and over again because of grade inflation, but they don't see some weird course, you know, with a unique title that often. So they pause for a minute and maybe go to the course descriptions and really look at it. And they think, oh, well, this kid has a couple dual enrollments, or this kid has a few APs and good letter of rec and a test score. So I'm not even going to second guess these other courses, but boy, do they sound interesting. And I'm really glad the kid did that, you know, and it makes them unique. And so I think parents need to open up to the fact that colleges have been accepting homeschoolers for decades now, decades. None of us are doing anything new.
No.
And homeschoolers have a great track record at colleges. They're known to be very successful. And so you don't have to prove anything. You really don't. You want to make sure you're checking some outside verification, some of these boxes, but you can lean into homeschooling. You can lean into some unique coursework. You can lean into your students' interests, and it's going to be okay. And your student will have a more meaningful time for their 4 years of high school, which I think is very valid.
Yeah, I think it really, you know, you're balancing all these things with your student as you're planning. And so, you know, obviously there's the balance of like too much work versus like, you know, and burnout and so forth. So there's that. And then additionally, there's this, you know, like, okay, generalization versus specialization. That's a bit of a balance, even for a student who's going to be super generalized versus super specialized. Like they need some of the other, like you can't get it into programs and show that you have the interest in them and fit to major, which can matter for some schools. Unless you've got some coursework, even if you are more of a generalist. So, you know, and then vice versa, like you can't just skip a subject that you weren't interested in.
You got to do math no matter what.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And, you know, so there's that. And then, you know, this balance that you're talking about like the outside verification versus like at home. And I would just say too, like it is that balance between like, okay, the ways in which you're checking the box and the ways in which you're looking for meaning and ways for your student to have a meaningful experience with their coursework and really learn from it and go deep and think about things and at whatever level and way that looks for them. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? And actually, you just reminded me because at whatever level that is for them, I think
Mhm.
that's another thing that's really important. You have the students you have. You know, we all just have our kids with their strengths and their weaknesses and everything else. And sometimes when you get on these groups, you know, wherever they are, including ours, you know, which has so many people, we can't control it at all.
No.
As soon as you get these groups and you see some of the parents who are sharing, like, my kid's done this amazing thing, my kid's doing all this coursework, and then my kid got into Yale or something. And then you're like, oh my gosh, my kid needs to be doing all this too, you know, and why aren't they doing all this, you know? And
Right.
then you start second guessing everything. And then maybe you put too much on them and and then that's stressing the whole family out. That's stressing everybody out. Make sure that you realize that you have the kids you have, and that's okay, and work to their strengths as much as you can, you know. And if they're struggling in some things, you know, then do what you need to do to support them and to help them. But don't, like, the amount of students that I see who are doing AOPS math, who I don't think every student should be doing AOPS math. I got to be honest.
No,
And I had a kid that was
it's
so
very
bright. Yeah.
specialized. Yeah.
Truffaut was so good at math. I mean, and he went on to STEM and everything. He did not like AOPS at all. I mean, it lasted, you know, 3
Yeah.
months. It was just not a match for this kid. You know, some kids get
Right.
so frustrated by it. Some kids just aren't there mathematically, you know, at all. And there's so many other great providers for math out there. But if you're in these groups, the amount of times AOPS gets mentioned for every single student almost, it almost makes you think, well, why is my kid not doing AOPS? What is wrong if my kid doesn't do AOPS? And
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong. It's okay.
It's true for all these other things too that people mention, like, you know, and it's not just like one or two things. I mean, there's, you know, dozens of things, and especially like it'll depend on the time of day that you post and you know, and you'll just see this run of people like, oh, this, and sometimes I'm like, well, maybe, and even us, like sometimes I suggest something and then we meet that family later and they're like, you know, you know, you guys touted this. I was like, yeah, that's a general suggestion. That's before I met your kid. Like, yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know, like until I meet them. And even then sometimes it's a little bit of guesswork about like, what's the best thing for that student.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think it's also like, again, like you have to prioritize meaningful experiences because colleges don't know a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they barely know the difference between some of these providers and things, if they ever do. Like most of them, they've never heard of. And they have their own ideas, which are often wrong, about like what outside coursework looks like, what dual enrollment means for your kid. Like oftentimes they just are very ignorant about it because they don't have the deep experience that like you have as a homeschool parent trying to pick between these options.
And they're not going to, sometimes we see paperwork where families link each provider and stuff. They're not going to go through. First of all, they're not going to click any links. Second of all, they can't. Yeah. But second of all, they don't have the time either. You know what I mean? They're just like looking at this transcript really quickly. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind, you know.
Yeah.
But my biggest takeaway is as you're planning your students' year and you're choosing out these courses and what they should study and everything, is don't rely too heavily on all the groups. There's lots of good info there. You can find providers you may not have heard of. You can go look at it, everything. But if everyone's recommending Blue Tent English for your 9th graders to start with, do some research first, you know. And I say that as
that's the right path. Yeah.
As a parent whose kid went all the way through Blue Tent, you know, and I loved it, but that's not the right choice for every student by any means, you know. Yeah.
I think, and for me, the context, like, you know, in today's world is because there are so many more choices. Like even like, you know, my kids only graduated like what, 4 years ago or whatever, 5 years ago. I don't know. They graduated not that long ago. They did. That one of them's graduating now, like from college, the next level.
Fine. So there we go.
I'm so proud of him. Anyway, and he just got a job. You guys,
yeah, so amazing
in this job market. Okay. Anyway,
that is amazing.
I know. I dropped my jaw. Just was like, what? Not because I didn't believe in him, but just because the market is so
it's
bad.
the job market. It's insane.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So well, and so the whole like. Where was I going with this? You made
I don't know. I'm so sorry.
I had a point. Oh, in today's world.
In today's world.
Yeah, it's the options are so different now for kids and for families choosing, like, you know, what are things going to be like? I mean, like, I was thinking about how, like, so what? I mean, at this point, like 7 or 8 years ago, I wrote a book about homeschooling middle school.
Right.
And which I'm proud of, but I had like a very mini little section about online education and like things to look out for. And it was still like a little, you know, and I was just like, now it would just be so different because there's so many more options. And the vibe of those options has changed, and like the number of them has changed. I see a lot of families. So first of all, that's more difficult, I think, because you have more options to figure out what's going to be meaningful. And I do think like you have to like be careful about the SEO, the search engine optimization of some of these programs. How they sort of like, and also their sales pitch. And also there's a lot of like confusing language where they're like, you know, so that your teen can have a deep, meaningful experience. And it's like, this program is not a deep, meaningful experience. It's a bunch of videos where you click a quiz and like they don't know what they're talking about. Other places, like they barely advertise, but they are giving a deep, meaningful, like, so it figuring out like what those things are going to be for you. That's difficult, I think. So there's that element, but then also like, I think that a lot of families, like I've seen families ask about like, should we change how we're teaching writing? Because like like large language models exist.
Yeah. There is a lot out there that's so, I mean, you know, with AI and everything, it's like, how do you think about this? How do you think about what your kids should really study, what they should focus on, what's important? And I think we don't know. We don't know yet. You know, we're at a time where things are going to change. And so one of my messages with that is let your kids do what they're interested in right now, and let them just build that up, because you just don't know. And it's a hard time to be young, I think. I think in a few years we'll have a better idea. So what do? You just have to do the best you could do, you know, and that's it. You know, like I taught advanced film this year, and it's been a good course, but I'm completely changing it for next year because I just feel like kids need somewhat different skills now going forward. And in my advanced film class for next year, I'm making each student teach their own unit. They have to devise a unit, teach it. Of course, I'll support them and give it an okay. And they have to do it for 3 weeks. And I think that's just such a good skill that you can talk to people, you can share your knowledge. It's not all about writing, you know. Is that the right way to go? I have no idea. I'm just trying things out in this new world that we all find ourselves in. But I do think, I was thinking about it, I think, oh, that's a really good skill for teens to have, to be able to teach a little mini unit to their peers on a subject they're interested in and really lead the class for 3 weeks. I don't think it can hurt them. You know what I mean? And that's just me trying to find some meaning in my class in today's world, you know, and that's the best we can do as teachers.
I mean, I think, I'm totally there with the sort of like, you may as well do the thing that you're enjoying because everything is radically shifted. I mean, like this is, you know, my 2 sons, the one who's graduating from, they're twins, and one's graduating from college. And the other is a professional dancer. And like, it definitely is not the case that like when they embarked on these paths, like 4 years ago, like graduating from high school, that I was like, oh yeah, the dance path is safer because it can't be replaced by robots as easily. Like I just didn't. And now it's almost come full circle. Like, oh, here's the thing that like isn't going to be replaced. Like, you know, even though it's a really hard path.
Yeah,
like
that's like
he got very lucky and he worked really hard.
Yeah.
But
that's like my daughter who does organ tuning. I mean, no one's going to be able to replace that, you know.
Not anytime soon.
And it's really cool skill, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that there's that in my classes, like too, like in my graphic novels class and in my film and literature class and also my Africa Asia history class, like I really try to preference, like, you know, you have to talk in class because this is a skill. Like you have to communicate with your peers and learn how to have a discussion. And that is really hard for some students.
It is.
I think, but this is a skill that will never go away fully, like that maybe we need to have in this new world. I also, though, I'm very wary of like changing too much yet about how because analog systems are still going to be like, I mean, a lot of the process of education is a process. And
Mhm.
so if you are out, the more that you outsource to letting other things think for you, I mean, this is just like with calculators, they're great tools. You definitely get to a level in math where you should have a calculator, and it would be silly not to. But if you have a calculator all the time as a 6-year-old, as you're learning your math facts, then there's a good shot you won't learn them. And, and the same thing too, like, for your 10-year-old or something, they may not be ready for it yet, because the more that you outsource your thinking to something else, the harder it is for you to learn those skills. And the same thing is true for your writing skills and stuff. So I
Yeah.
think it is a balance. And I don't think that I'm not too worried about kids learning to use the technology kind of things.
Yo, yeah.
But what I
Yeah.
see too is that a lot of students need like more basic instruction in IT use than they used to.
That's so funny. No, it's true.
It's
100%. They
true.
just are very confused a little bit with some
Because
of this
I
stuff
think
we
because
take
it's
for.
gotten more complex, they
Yeah.
didn't have to do the earlier
Yeah.
stages like we
Yeah.
all did, because we were just learning along with the technology's evolution. And so everybody's like, oh, they're digital natives, they just know it. And I'm like, they don't, because now it's gotten so complex that they actually need instruction, which is different than what it used to be like, where they would sort of pick it up because it was newer and they were sort of learning it as it evolved.
I just want to go back though to discussing in classes. So
Mhm.
I teach all my classes at Moth, which is my provider, as everyone knows, and we are very high input. So it's interesting information. Kids are getting all this stuff and lower output. So it's really nice for your student to balance out their schedule. But back to discussing, we require that all students be able to, participate in. It's a robust discussion in my classes.
Yeah.
And it is a super hard skill. And some students, because we also welcome students with all kinds of disabilities, learning disabilities, and anything like that. So some students have a lot of anxiety around discussing, and it's really hard for them, and they don't want to do it. And in my classes, because you and I were having this discussion, I just call on everybody. I don't even, and I just do. And after about 3 or 4 weeks, everyone is used to it,
Yeah.
and even
Yeah.
the ones that were having trouble in the beginning, they're like, oh, I guess we're all just doing this. And it's a very safe space, and everyone's opinion is everyone's heard, which I think is really, really important.
Mhm.
And everyone's allowed to have their opinions. And I think that's a skill. Like sometimes parents are so busy, like we need to get to AP Calculus BC by senior year, so we need to take all these classes, and we need to get to AP English and AP Lit, we need to take all these classes. But sometimes there's these side skills that are super important. Being able to discuss with your peers is one of them. I know that one of my things thinking when my kids were in high school was that I didn't want them to go to college not able to discuss things with peers and a teacher. I wanted them to be very comfortable with that. And they all were. I mean, probably to the point that maybe they were a little bit obnoxious sometimes, but that's okay. At least they could do it. And because we like to talk in my family. But I think that sometimes when choosing coursework or choosing what your kids should study, think about some of these side skills that are important when they get to college or in life or everything. You want them to feel some confidence. You want to build up their confidence during this time in whatever that is, so that's important too when choosing courses.
I mean, this is true too. Like sometimes meaningful education and college admissions are a little bit at odds with each other, because the things that and that's why I say like it's a balance where you have to prioritize it sometimes.
Yeah.
And I mean, and that's true for things like, AP Lit versus the class where you will learn to speak up a little bit more.
Yeah.
That those might be at odds. And some students are going to be fine with both, like, or either, or, one leads to the other or whatever. But like I think that is a bit of a tension. And it also is the case too for like a number of like sort of meaningful life skills and things. Sometimes we're in the position as college advisors having to say to families like, can we retitle that? Can we make that sound a little bit more collegey? And parents are like, no, they need they need the personal finance or whatever it is. They need the health. I mean, I made my kids do health senior year. That's not adding to their transcript for colleges, but I was like, I want to be sure that we cover certain things before you head off, like
which is important.
First day.
Yeah,
it was. And I was glad, I made my college kid build his own college, like,
first aid
med
kit.
First aid kit. Like, And it turned out too, like, it's like, okay, this is what aspirin does. This is what ibuprofen does. Like, this is,
My
and like
kids
he needed
knew
to
all
know
that.
those things. Oh
Yeah.
for whatever reason, he was just like, oh, you give me the pill. Like, and I was like, it didn't sink in. So I was like, okay, we have to cover these things. But I was glad that we did that stuff. Like, I
Yeah.
think that it was worth our time.
Yeah.
I mean, among other things, and
Yeah.
the same thing too for like some of these other things that families want to cover. And so it is that tension, but you want to lean into like, what are the meaningful things, for what you think are going to make the meaningful experience from your point of view, for your students' point of view, everybody.
Yeah. There's, I think we're about out of time, but the big takeaway is listen to your student. Realize that certain courses, or if they want to do a deep dive on their own and self-study something, which is very valid. We really haven't gone over that too much, but that is 100% valid. Or courses you do at home. Just let them have some ownership over this process. Let them feel like they are buying, that they're controlling it, and then you get their buy-in a little bit, and they're driving in a little bit. And in America, even with colleges are changing, small schools are struggling, things are shutting down, things are being bought, taken over by bigger universities. There's a lot of change going on. We all know that, but there's so many choices here in America. There really is. And so many universities and colleges to choose from. Your kid will find a path. Your kid will land somewhere. It's going to be okay, whatever it is. And it's probably different for a lot of different students, and that's fine too. Not everyone's going to go right off to college. Some students will take a gap year. Some students may have a 5th year. Some students, it may be right for them to start at community college and then transfer. Some will go to a small little liberal arts. Some will, there's just so many choices. Don't make the high school years all about getting into the best university and then burning out kids before they even get there. Because the last thing you want is some kid to be dealing with mental health issues and burnout before they even step on a campus. So keep that in mind.
And I would say this sort of other side of that too, like don't sort of think like, oh, if my kid can do the easiest version, then we can just and move on, and then they can head to community college or whatever the plan is. But so even if your goals are modest, don't neglect the meaning piece either, because this is your last chance to kind of give your student the ability to explore some different pathways and the ability to have those deeper discussions with you and while they're at home, and to have that kind of connection through education and to let it evolve. And, to sort of introduce those things that are meaningful, so that they are successful in the next stage, even if it's an easier quote unquote stage, even if like the admissions path that you're looking at is going to be not that difficult.
And just enjoy your teens.
Yay.
Sit down with them, listen to them.
Good advice.
Just enjoy the teens you have. It's going to be okay.
So this is what we get for like not announcing this like way in advance. I think we have like 2 viewers.
That's my
I'm making fun of us in the stream.
Cheers to menopause, perimenopause, and ADHD, which I have so bad. I don't have
anything to cheers with. I have a thing of nuts.
Okay, cheers. Let's do it virtually. Cheers.
I don't have a drink.
You're not cheering me. It's like bad luck. Okay. I'll drink for both of us.
Cheers.
You don't have anything. You have nothing. Yeah.
I just have the things at my desk.
I have so much at my desk I could cheers with.
All drinks, really?
No.
Also, you have some AI cookies behind you that I got weirdly hyper-fixated on. They're like all 4 cookies are like blended together in the middle. Like, this is like
those are real cookies. Thank you very much. No.
If only.
If only. Wish. I'm so hungry because it's 6:00 here. So we are done. Okay, how do we end this?
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
We just ended. Thank you.
Okay.
Next week. Say in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks.
Okay. All right. See you. Bye.
And in stream.
You look really good. I was going to text you.